I would like you all to take a moment to close your eyes. Picture a sky. The sky is clear, bright blue, beautiful, almost so clear and blue it seems fake. Now picture a cloud, or a sheet of clouds covering it. It can be any color, shape, size, or type, cumulonimbus to just a plain old rain cloud. That cloud is a moment of time, a memory, a freighting fragment. We let it pass. Now you may see a cloud like that one again and remember that cloud, but no cloud comes back looking the same. And that's okay. They are just clouds. It's just the sky, and the sky changes too. It's not about the clouds in the sky, or even the sky itself. It's about what you do with your sky and clouds. Excuse me. Finding purpose is a never-ending quest. Not because your search is meaningless, but because your purpose is always changing, and it never looks the same. When most of us were little, we had dreams of being firefighters, teachers, famous singers. We didn't care what we'd sing, we didn't care who we'd save, but we wanted to bring something grand and new to the table that no one else had before. But now, everyone finds themselves at a crossroad of life, whether they're 5 years old or 50. We are always looking and searching for some type of answer to the big question of what's the point? And I think the answer is pretty dang simple. The point is to find your own happiness, even when it's not all that easy to find. Now, we all search for our happiness in different ways. We try to get our lives together, we try to set it up. We let ourselves be stressed out with our work, our school, our children, our relationships, all in order to enjoy the fruits of our labors later on. We focus on our work to earn enough money to retire or go on a vacation. We focus on our schooling so we can get a good job that we like, so we enjoy making the money. We focus on our children so we can enjoy the love that they will return and their obligation to care for us in return. We focus on our relationships to reap the reward of moral desert and to no longer be alone with our own thoughts, our own demands for ourselves, and to distract ourselves from ourselves. But very few people legitimately look into themselves and search for the true reason and meaning behind why we are unhappy in the first place. We never understand why we feel the need to be distracted from ourselves. We never, if I can quote a song by a band called, it's just a band, I don't know the name of it. We never throw ourselves into the unknown with a pace, fury, defiant. We simply allow ourselves to become the shells of ourselves. We smile when we're sad, we laugh when we cry, we feel relief when we say goodbye to each other at the end of the conversation. And that's not to say that we do not try. We all try to be our own version of happiness, or try to find our own version of ourselves. We meditate or do yoga, we exercise, create goals and plan. We all work to get better. We talk to therapists and psychologists and shrinks and doctors and life coaches. But we are refusing to realize the problem stares at us every day when we look in the mirror and say, I do not like myself. It was around this time last year when I came to the realization that the problem wasn't me, but my line of thinking. And not just my line of thinking, but my line of thinking about myself. Why is it that a person like me was happier when she was homeless and had nowhere to go, living in a shelter, which I was, than I am currently when I have my own home that I'm paying for, or back when I was living with my parents? I believe there was a sort of freedom attached to it. But why is it now that every few months or so I find myself in a headspace where life as it is seems to be crashing down around me? And most importantly, why do I find allowing myself to take care of myself not only emotionally and physically exhausting, but also painful? I realize that not everyone feels this way, and I honestly hope that most of you can't relate to this feeling. But if you do, then what is the real solution? Because the fact of the matter is, people like me have tried everything, and we are frustrated. I've done the programs, the groups, the family, the therapists, the psychologists, the meditation, the work. I lived with different people. I tried living on my own. I tried being in relationships. And at the end of the day, the problem still persists. My apartment is messy and my social life is non-existent. I believe that there is, however, a ray of hope in the equation. And it is that the belief that brings me back to where we began. There is one thing that we have all struggled to learn how to do, and that is allowing ourselves to let the cloud linger, and to allow ourselves to stop stepping. We're all afraid to stop going. We're all afraid to stop stepping. It's one foot in front of the other, and if we don't put the other foot down, eventually we fall. But what we're not understanding is that we fall anyway. So why not choose to fall with understanding and purpose? Why not let the cloud stay, and maybe, just maybe, you'll look at each cloud a little bit differently. But happiness is not about clouds, and that brings us to the next line of questioning. The answer is a question. What is happiness? Well, honestly, anyone who is in psychology will tell you that searching for a legitimate definition for happiness is very bold and, honestly, impossible. As Pamela Hieronymi said, well, why don't we just get a list of human goods and we'll try to bring about the most of those, and we'll just, talk about it and what should be on the list. The question poses the answer that it is impossible to make such a list. Because again, the differences we have all between each other are too great. Yes, I can write a comprehensive list of, let's say, the top 10 things I do well. But if we were all to write that list, there would be a lot of different things on it. And yes, there may be very slight commonalities, sure. On some of our lists, for example, if I were to ask you to write a list of your 10 greatest attributes from 1 to 10, 10 being the greatest and 1 being the least great, one person may add writing as their number 1, while another may write it as their number 5 or their number 10. It is all about, but that's all about the confidence in your own ability, really. Some of you may have legitimately trouble coming up with a comprehensive list because it brings a whole new line of questioning as to what makes an attribute great and why. Some may have trouble coming up with any, as others may have trouble ranking them, and some may even have trouble choosing only 10. But all of this brings us back to the question, what is happiness? Because I believe happiness isn't simply about the attributes or abilities of each and every one of us. It is also about our reliance on each other. Which brings us to the more penultimate question of what do we owe each other? I don't have the answer to that. As Kant said it at best, finding the terms of moral justification is an unending task. This video is not about moral justification or what we owe each other. It's about happiness. And it's more focusing on what we're doing wrong when it comes to finding happiness, because we all are following the guidelines of others. Let's put an example out there. For example, let's talk about scheduling and bullet journaling. There is a very wide and well-known bullet journaling community out there, and we use these journals to keep track of our lives and what we're doing in our lives. But some of us at least, especially me, never feel happy with what we write or what we do in that journal, because we feel like it's either not good enough, or something's wrong with it, it's not artistic enough, something like that. Let me show you. I will pull my journal out for you. We set expectations for ourselves that are way too high, and I can prove it using my own self. Now, the original expectation that I had for myself making this journal is that I would write in it every day. And that is a normal expectation people set for themselves when starting a journal, that they will write in it every day. But that is simply unrealistic for anyone. You can forget it, life can get in the way. So many things can happen. So what I've decided to do, excuse me since I'm gonna hide my phone numbers in this, is I've decided to create a journal purely for myself. And if there are certain things in the journal that I'm proud of, maybe I'll post it. But there's nothing in here that isn't purely for me. And I think this is the first step that I think we all should take in finding what can make us happy. Allow me to, so, as you can see, there's some rips here because this isn't new. Remember, I started this at the beginning of the year. The first thing we can all see, I know the image is mirrored, but the first thing we can all see is this collage here. Now, this is from this song that I quoted earlier by the Gang of Youths, which is Achilles Come Down. I find this song incredibly inspirational. Why? I don't know, but I do. Some of the quotes that you can see here are, "You may feel no purpose nor point for existing. It's all just conjecture and gloom. It's more courageous to overcome." And this one is the one I quoted earlier. "To throw yourself into the unknown with pace and a fury defiant, and clothe yourself into the untold, and see life as a means to a triumph." This song is what started me on my journey to trying to find a way to engage with my pain as a motive. And if we look here at the second page, I'm actually relatively proud of this drawing. It's a cute little koi, and it's June. Now, this is where it gets a little less into me worrying about the aesthetics of the book. This is obvious. But more into what I personally need from this book. What do I need? A calendar. Okay? Pretty bullet journal staple calendar. You don't even need this. It's just what I did. Put some lily pads in the corner to adjust it to the theme of a cute little koi pond. Whatever, sure. Right next to it. Important dates. My birthday. My sister's birthday. You know, I'm having a date soon. Like, it's all there. Now, this is where it really gets interesting, I think. I've given myself something that I gave myself a long time ago. I used to have this journal that I was allowing myself to sort of wreck. It wasn't let me clarify, it wasn't one of those wreck your journals where you like are told to do things in order to wreck the journal. It was specifically a journal that I allowed myself to be bad in. And I think that is part of the key, because I really enjoyed filling that out. So I have given myself, cute little emo drawing, given myself a space of freedom to write literally anything I can possibly want, or draw, as I already did, anything I possibly want in this space. Same thing here. This is a little more, but this is just reminders and notes, just anything I want there, phone numbers, stuff like that. Now, this is a little more attuned to me personally. You obviously do not have to do anything that I'm telling you to do. This is a wish list for shopping. I have things on there like, you know, new clothes, hangers, desktop computer, desk chair, you know, just normal things. And then, of course, you know, all the things I want, if I bought it, when I'm gonna get it in the mail, if I get it offline, whatever. A grocery list, a budget list, and then finally, lists that I stopped for a while but now plan on continue. A song of the month, a quote of the month, and this month's goals and wrap up. And then of course I have the start of July here. I wanted to get started a little early since I had some extra time at work today. There's the start of July. But my point here isn't to show you guys my journal. My point here is to show you guys that I'm giving myself the ability to fuck up. As the famous Try Guys wrote about, there is a hidden power in fucking up. And just put this back. And there's also a hidden happiness in giving yourself the space to fuck up and not hating yourself for it. Now, this discussion will continue. I plan on furthering my research in this realm of what can make a person happy and how to make it not so difficult. But as I said before, there's no definition to happiness because everyone's happiness is different. Alright, so that's the video. Don't know what I'm gonna call this. If you like it, thank you for liking it. Give me a thumb up if you want. You can subscribe, expect more sort of down-to-earth-ish videos like this one, as opposed to my previous content of random shit posting and bullshit. You know, it's just random stuff. This is more better. I think it's better. So yeah. See See you guys later.